Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Auralia. I'm so excited that you're here today. Today's video is going to be what is your perfect color palette. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This is the fourth time I have shot this video. If I don't get it in this take, I'm not doing it. My name is Auralia, and if you are new here, the content that I provide is all around style and fashion for the plus-size mature woman. I am a firm believer that life is way too short to live without style. I post 1 to 2 times a week, so if you enjoy my content, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss anything here on my channel. If you're a returning friend, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you again. I want to start out by saying that this video is intended to give you the basics to helping you find your perfect color palette based on your undertone. And that way you can find the color palette that makes you feel amazing. The wonderful thing about knowing what your undertone is and figuring out what your ideal color palette it should be, or your ideal colors should be, is that you can take them and use this season after season and create a brand new color palette, or just take the same color palette and vary it a little bit. Once you understand how to find your undertone, you will have a pretty good understanding of those colors that will make your complexion and make you look fantastic. It's important to know the difference between undertone and skin tone. Your skin tone is what is on the surface, and it is very changeable. It will adjust according to your body temperature, the situation, if you are working out or have been drinking, anything that brings color to your face, and that color that you see on the surface is going to be your skin tone. Your undertone is what lies beneath the surface of your skin, and it is what gives you your coloring. It is something that really can't be seen, but it can be perceived. If you were to try and mix your exact undertone, you'd be surprised at the colors that you would find in there. And it is a very complicated thing, I'm gonna say, and we're not gonna get into the complexities of it. Just suffice it to say that your undertone is what gives you your coloring. It is what will determine if you are a cool, a warm, a neutral, or an olive. It really is very telling and will be incredibly helpful, I think, to help you to understand what your ideal color palette should be. There are a few different ways to determine your undertone. One of the easiest ways to get a baseline idea of what your undertone is by doing the vein test. The vein test is when you take a look at the veins on your wrist, and depending on what you see, it will tell you what undertone you likely are. Essentially, if you look at your wrist and you see blue veins, then you are likely a cool undertone. If you see green veins, then you are likely a warm undertone. If you see a mix of blue and green, or you can't quite tell what it is, then you are likely a neutral undertone. The next test that you can take, which is very similar to the vein test in that it will give you a general idea, is the jewelry test. So if you put on a piece of silver jewelry and it looks fantastic against your skin, it really makes your eyes and your hair and your complexion just jump out and look really, really good, then likely you are a cool undertone. Gold necklaces and gold jewelry are just not going to look right on you. It's going to look a little bit off. And so that is a good indicator of cool undertone. On the flip side of that, if you put on a gold necklace and it looks fantastic on you, your eyes are shining, your hair looks great, your complexion looks fantastic, then you are probably a warm undertone. And silver jewelry will again look a little bit off on you. It just won't look quite right. Your skin will look maybe a little bit muted or dull. You'll know instinctively if it looks good or not. That means that, of course, again, you're a warm undertone. If you can wear both and you can't really tell a difference between either of the two, then you are a neutral undertone. The third test that you can do, and the one that is really going to help you define your undertone, is the white towel test, or the white test. So essentially what you do is you take an object, whether that be a towel, a t-shirt, a piece of paper, a board. Ideally, you would want to have your hair all the way pulled back. You would want to have your a towel around you or something, or a white robe. That's because you not only want to take a look at your face, but you want to take a look at your chest when you do this test. And you put the white object next to you, and you have to make sure that the white object that you use is pure white. You want to be sure that it is not a white that leans too far yellow or leans too far blue, because it will influence what you see. So something that is pure white, and you put it next to your face and your chest, you will find that you will have a certain tone that's going to pop out, or that you'll notice. If you see pinkish or red coming through, then you are a cool undertone. If you see yellow or maybe even a peachy tone, then you are a warm undertone. If you see a greenish or yellow-green cast when you do this test, then you are an olive undertone. And if you cannot quite tell, if your skin kind of looks a little bit muted, you can't really differentiate, or you can't really see any of the three that I mentioned, then you are a neutral undertone. Keep in mind that if you are an olive undertone, then you, even though you have a greenish cast to your skin, you are considered a cool undertone. Olive undertones are never warm. They're always going to be cool, because olive is more of a blue-based green than it is a yellow-based green. If you are a neutral undertone, then consider yourself extremely lucky, because you can pretty much wear anything, any color, and it's going to look really, really good on you. So now let's start talking a little bit about color and how to determine your colors. Start out with neutrals. Of course, you have heard me say 100,000 times here on my channels that neutrals are the building blocks of any wardrobe. So you want to start there. And now that you have an understanding of your undertone, then you can start picking out your neutrals from there, because even neutrals will veer warm or cool. Based off of your undertone, you want to select the neutrals that are going to be most flattering on you. I would say that cool undertones, you might want to stick with anything that has that cool undertone, but generally blacks, grays, whites. Warm undertones always will work better with browns, caramels, ivories, and olive undertones. Again, they are considered a cool undertone, so you want to stick with something that is more on the cool side. Neutrals, again, you can select whatever neutrals you want and they're going to work. One thing to note is that there are a set of universally flattering shades that have been identified that pretty much any undertone can pull off, and those are black, pure white, true red, teal, blush, and eggplant. All of those colors will look good on everyone pretty much. Some may look a little bit better than others, but you can pretty much get away with any of those. You can always use any of those as an accent color in your color palette, in your wardrobe color palette. Now, the best way, in my opinion, to find your desired colors is to browse Pinterest, and anything that you find on Pinterest with colors that grab your fancy, throw them into a folder. It doesn't have to just be clothes. It doesn't have to just be makeup. It could be interiors. It could be color studies. It could be anything on Pinterest. And throw it into a folder where you're gathering all of those colors in there. Once you get a few in there, you'll start to notice a trend, and you'll start to notice what colors you gravitate to. Generally speaking, you want to have your basics, your wardrobe basics, be neutrals, because they're going to be what grounds a look. T-shirts, button-down shirts, trousers, things like that. You want to have those ideally in neutral colors. You want to at least have a good solid set of those. And it's really hard to tell sometimes what is going to go warm, what is going to go cool. The best way to do it is when you shop and when you get your stuff, if you buy online, put it up to your face and see if it looks good. That's always a really, really good test. If it looks really good, if it makes your skin and your eyes and your hair pop, then it's a great color for you. If it doesn't, you know, if things just look a little dull, if they just don't look really maximized and really fabulous, then likely it's not going to be a good shade for you. Keep in mind what your undertone is. It should make it a lot easier for you to pull together the colors that you like. And then, of course, you can set up your color palette. A color palette should have about 10 different colors on it. You want to have 3 to 4 neutrals. You want to have, 2 or 3 like kind of staple shades, and then you want to have a few accent colors, things that you might throw in to change things up a little bit. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, your color palette is not set in stone. You can change your color palette as often as you want to. I used to do my color palette seasonally, but last year in the second half of the year, I found that I was changing my color palette pretty much every month. I was deciding a completely different color palette, and that's because I was getting into the habit of creating a capsule wardrobe where I would pull from these items for the month. The last thing that I want to say before I close out is that if you don't want to follow any of these guidelines, then don't. Wear whatever colors make you happy. Just because you understand your undertone, if there are colors that you love and gravitate to that maybe don't fall in line with your undertone, and you really love them and they bring you joy, then wear them. Honestly, fashion is supposed to be fun. If you want to wear the rainbow, then do it. It's all about owning your look and doing what you want to do for yourself to make yourself happy, to give yourself some joy. I will be having more videos in this series because I know that incorporating color can be a little bit intimidating. I love color. I love having color in my wardrobe, and I am super excited to share my thoughts with you on how to bring color into your wardrobe. So keep an eye out for more videos on this. You'll want to make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoy this type of content, because there is more to come. I'm going to have another video for you right here to enjoy. Thank you as always so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Remember to live your life filled with confidence, grace, and style. I will see you in my next upload. Bye.